the public treasury and said, "I cannot remain the treasurer of Bani Umayyah." So, Walid sent him to Medina. When he came to Medina, Uthman ordered his servant, Yamum, to punish Ibn Masud. On the instructions of Uthman, Yamum threw Ibn Masud on the ground, crippling him. He remained bedridden for 2 years, and then passed away. During these 2 years, Uthman kept his government allowance suspended. Ansa Abu al-Ashraf, Volume 5, pg. 36, Tariq Yaqubi, Volume 2, pg. 147, Mustadrak Hakim, Volume 3, pg. 13, 27. Those familiar with the sources on early Islam know Ali ibn Husayn Masudi Shafi'i died 345 AH very well. Masudi is a very reliable and honest Islamic historian and geographer who is relied upon by all the schools of thought. He has written a very interesting, excellent, and authentic 4-volume book on history, entitled Maruhuz Zahab. Therein it is mentioned that when Uthman was assassinated, he left behind 150,000 gold dinars and 1,000,000 silver dirhams. Also, his properties in Wadi al-Qura and Hunain were worth 100,000 gold dinars. He also left an unspecified number of horses and camels. Volume 2, pg. 341, 28. Yala ibn Umayyah, who is also called Yala ibn Munia because his mother's name was Munia, was a revenue officer during the rule of Uthman. When he died, he left behind 500,000 gold dinars. In addition to this, people owed him a huge sum of money that he had lent them. The value of his property and other things that he left came to 300 dinars. 29. Masudi writes that Talha ibn Ubaydiyah had constructed a magnificent palace in Kufa. Talha's income from his properties in Iraq alone reached 1,000 gold dinars. The income from the Sharia area was more than this. In Medina, Talha had built his house with baked bricks, mortar and expensive wood. Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas also had constructed a huge magnificent palace. 30. Masudi writes that Zubair ibn Awam had a palace constructed in Basra. He owned properties in Alexandria and Basra. He died leaving behind 50,000 dinars, 1,000 horses, 1,000 male and female slaves and unspecified properties in various cities. Abdur Rahman ibn Awf Zuri had constructed a palatial mansion. There were 1,000 horses in his stables. He owned 1,000 camels and 10,000 goats and sheep. He was survived by 4 widows, each of whom inherited 84,000 gold dinars. Zayd ibn Thabit died leaving such a huge quantity of gold that hammers were called to break up the pieces for distribution. His movable and unmovable property was worth 100,000 dinars. 31. If Imam Ali had not suppressed the Khawarij, all the pious and religious Muslims would have gradually adopted the Khariji dogma. And if people had become Kharijis, neither Shia Islam would have survived till today nor would Sunni Islam. That is why, after the Battle of Nahrawan, the Imam said in one of his sermons, which is also mentioned in Nahj al-Balagha, that, "O people, I have smashed the eye of mischief and corruption and no one else could have dared to do this." Persons who recited prolonged ritual prayers, without spirituality and without understanding of the divine reality marifat. Sanctimonious and apparently very devoted people, they were such that it was only Imam Ali who could eliminate them. Even Imam Hassan and Imam Husayn could not have accomplished this task. Through this operation, Imam Ali saved the dying Islam and showed to the world that apart from the Islam of Quraysh and Islam of Khawarij, there was another Islam. Role of the Imams in Revival of Religion, Volume 2, Allama Saeed Murtaza Askari. Shares. Bani Umayyah. Regarding the following verse of the Quran, it is said that it denotes the Bani Umayyah. And when we said to you, "Surely your Lord encompasses men," and we did not make the vision, which we showed you but a trial for men and the cursed tree in the Quran as well, and we cause them to fear, but it only adds to their great inordinacy. 17. 60. One day when Muawiyah was dragging the bridle of the camel of Yazid while the latter was following behind, the Holy Prophet said, "Allah's curse be upon the holder of bridle and the one who follows." 2. Abdullah ibn Umar narrates that, the Holy Prophet said, "A man is coming, who will not die as a Muslim." And we saw that Muawiyah had come, because he had got Ammar killed. Muawiyah could be identified as the head of rebels as the Holy Prophet had foretold Ammar that a rebellious group would kill him. 3. Muawiyah was the son of Abu Sufyan and that hind who had chewed the liver of Hamza in the battle of Uhud. Abu Sufyan was the chief of the Meccan army which had fought the Messenger of Allah. It is mentioned in Musnad Ahmad ibn Hanbal that Muawiyah used to drink wine and ruled in the name of Islam. 4. Muawiyah revived the pre-Islamic 5 practice and declared that Ziyad ibn Sumayya was his brother and made him his family member, though the Holy Prophet had clearly stated that the child belongs to the bed on which it is born, and the adulterer has to be stoned to death. Muawiyah used poisoned honey 6 to eliminate righteous persons and used to boast, Allah has battalions of honey. Muawiyah had armed a number of bandits to plunder, to kill women and children, and to set houses on fire. Muawiyah was an expert fraudster and liar. Muawiyah hated those who demanded their rights and sought justice. Muawiyah ordered that the righteous believers be cursed. The caliphate that should be based on democracy and consultation was transformed into hereditary rulership by Muawiyah. His past had nothing worthy of mention and he had nothing that could entitle him to caliphate. Regarding him, the Holy Prophet said, "May Allah not fill his belly." 7. On the pretext of retaliation for Uthman's murder, Muawiyah raised Uthman's blood-smeared shirt and displayed the severed fingers of Uthman's wife, Nayla, on the pulpit and instigated the people to revolt against Imam Ali. Muawiyah managed to become the ruler of Muslims due to Aisha and her camel, because of Qatam, and Ibn Muljam the Khawarij, because of the ignorance of the Syrians and Iraqis, the worldliness of the people and their attitude and the steadfastness of Imam Ali's faith. Among the factors that Muawiyah used to his advantage, the most important was the display of Uthman's blood-smeared shirt. The famous German Orientalist, Wellhausen, writes in his book, Tariq ad-Dawlat al-Arabiya, 1958. 8. Claim for the blood of Uthman was the basis on which Muawiyah founded his goal so that he might take possession of the caliphate. However, how the demand for Uthman's blood became a cause of Muawiyah's success and why Muawiyah put forward such a claim is a different matter. What is undeniable is that in order to achieve his objective, he joined hands with Amr ibn As, who was Uthman's arch-enemy. It is also a fact that piety and goodness towards Uthman or his survivors were not behind Muawiyah's revolt. Imam Ali defended Uthman, whereas Talha, Zubair, Aisha, Muawiyah and Ibn Az instigated people to kill him. When Uthman was killed, they rebelled against Imam Ali and demanded retaliation for Uthman's murder. Talha and Zubair were killed in the Battle of Jamal. The legs of Aisha's camel were cut off and the defeated Aisha was returned to Medina in a respectful manner. In the Battle of Siffin, Muawiyah and Amr ibn Az escaped by raising the Holy Quran on spears. If they had not resorted to this deception, they would have also met the fate of the people of Jamal. Muawiyah returned from Siffin determined to make life difficult for Ali and his Shias. Surprise night attacks, massacres and plunder. All Islamic territories except Syria were under the rule of Imam Ali. Iraq, Hijaz, Yemen, Egypt, Iran and others were under the control of the central Islamic government and acknowledged the authority of Imam Ali. But Muawiyah, whom the Imam had dismissed from the governorship of Syria, had declared himself to be the de facto ruler at Damascus. After forming a state within a state, he armed thieves and robbers like Nu'man ibn Bashir, Yazid ibn Shajara, Muslim ibn Uqba, Za'ak ibn Qays Fari, Abdur Rahman ibn Kaith, Zuhair ibn Makul, Sufyan ibn Awf Ghamidi, Busr ibn Abi Artad, and told them to plunder and destroy properties in the territories under the control of Imam Ali. Below are a few specimens of the activities of those persons commissioned by Muawiyah. Sufyan bin Awf Ghamidi. Muawiyah told Sufyan Ghamidi, "Take this army and march towards Euphrates and return to Syria after passing through Hayt, Anbar and Madain. Wherever you find an army, fight against it, but take care not to enter Kufa, because if your army enters Anbar and Madain, Kufa will automatically come under your control. This will make them helpless and cause happiness to our friends, and the timid people will come across to us. During this mission, wherever you find a supporter of Ali, you should kill him. Destroy their villages and seize their property, because plundering causes more grief, and it is more effective than killing. 9. Sufyan Ghamidi obeyed his master's orders, taking the army and rushed to Anbar. He undertook killings on a large scale and returned to Syria after collecting as much wealth as he could. When he reported to Muawiyah he said, inter alia, "Oh, chief, by Allah, no battle gave me more happiness than this. By Allah, I terrified the hearts of the people." Muawiyah said, "You have done according to my expectations." Imam Ali ordered the people of Kufa to get ready to defend themselves against their enemy, but they did not pay heed. So, he decided to fight alone. The Kufians came to him and said, "Don't go alone, we shall fight the battle." Imam Ali said, "You are not truly valiant and courageous at the time of fighting." They, however, persisted and made Imam Ali return home. When he returned home, he was very angry. At that time, he delivered a sermon which is recorded in Naj al-Balagha. Its translation is as follows. "Beware. I called you insistently to fight these people night and day, secretly and openly, and exhorted you to attack them before they attacked you, because by Allah, no people have been attacked in the hearts of their houses, but they suffered disgrace, but you put it off to others and forsook it till destruction befell you and your cities were occupied. The horsemen of Banu Ghamid have reached Al-Anbar and killed Hassan ibn Hassan al-Bakri. They have removed your horsemen from the garrison. I have come to know that every one of them entered upon Muslim women and other women under the protection of Islam, and took away ornaments from their legs, arms, necks and ears, and no woman could resist it, except by pronouncing the verse, 'We are from Allah and to Him we shall return to.' 156. Then they got back laden with wealth without any wound or loss of life. If any Muslim dies of grief after all this, he is not to be blamed, but rather there is justification for him before me." How strange! How strange! By Allah, my heart sinks to see the unity of these people in their falsehood and your disunity in your truth. Woe and grief befall you. You have become the target at which arrows are shot. You are being killed and you do not fight. You are being assaulted but you do not attack. Allah is being disobeyed and you remain agreeable to it. When I ask you to move against them in summer, you say it is hot weather. Spare us till the heat subsides. When I order you to march in winter, you say it is severely cold. Give us time till the cold weather clears. These are just excuses for evading heat and cold. Because if you run away from heat and cold, you would be, by Allah, running away in a greater degree from the sword war. O you semblance of men, not men, your intelligence is that of children and your wit is that of the occupants of the curtained canopies. Women kept in seclusion from the outside world. I wish I had not seen you or known you. By A1 law, this acquaintance has brought about shame and resulted in repentance. May Allah fight you. You have filled my heart with pus and loaded my bosom with rage. You made me drink mouthfuls of grief one after the other. You shattered my counsel by disobeying. Imam Ali had to deal with a cunning enemy like Muawiyah, but the people of Kufa were busy in fighting and trying to humiliate one another. The enemy fought with them on their threshold, but they disgracefully asked for refuge, ran away, and did not return. Zaak bin Qays Fari. When Imam Ali came to know about the matter, he mounted the pulpit and scolded the people of Kufa in these words: "If you are interested in turning your enemies out of your land, get up to fight against them." However, he did not receive a positive response. Imam Ali then summoned Hujr ibn Adi al-Kindi and sent him as the commander of a 4,000-strong army to pursue Zaak. Hur's army overtook Zaak in the region of Tadmar and a battle ensued. 19 men from Zaak's side were killed and 2 from Hur's army were martyred. When night fell, Zaak ran away to Syria. Taking advantage of the darkness, mercenaries sent by Muawiyah attacked the supporters of Imam Ali, and indulged in killing, looting, and arson, but when they came face to face with Imam Ali's army they used to flee. Nu'man bin Bashir. Nu'man and his father Bashir ibn Sa'd were amongst earliest Ansars who gave allegiance to Abu Bakr. At Saqifa Bani Sada, other Ansars followed them in giving allegiance. Nu'man was a friend of Uthman and a favorite of Muawiyah and Yazid. He remained alive till the time of Marwan. When Allegiance was given to Marwan. Numan was the governor of Homs. In the year 65 AH he suggested to the people of Homs to pay allegiance to Abdullah ibn Zubair, but the people rebelled against him and put him to death. It was Numan who had brought Uthman's shirt and the severed fingers of Nail 10 to Muawiyah in Damascus. Muawiyah had the shirt hung and placed the fingers on display to incite the people. After some time, Numan left Muawiyah and went over to Imam Ali, but he did not like the pure atmosphere and once again returned to Syria. No doubt these are the ways of dirt eaters. They shy away from the fragrance of flowers and prefer to live in stables. Muawiyah sent Numan to Ain at-Tamr in Iraq with 2,000 soldiers and told him to launch a sudden attack and the flee quickly like thieves. Numan attacked Ain at-Tamr whose governor, Malik ibn Ka'ab, had only 200 soldiers. Seeing a 2,000-men army, he told his men, "Do not leave the vicinity, and fight with your backs to the wall. You should know that Allah grants victory to 10 persons over 100 persons, and makes 100 persons defeat 1,000. Some Shias of Imam Ali who resided near Ain at-Tamr rushed to assist Malik and they all together drove Numan and his men to Syria. After Imam Ali's martyrdom, Muawiyah appointed Numan as the governor of Kufa. Later, Yazid also allowed him to continue for some time till he was replaced with the vicious Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. Ibn Ziyad arrived in Kufa when Muslim ibn Aqil was taking allegiance. 11. Shield of Cowards. During the Battle of Siffin, one day Ayman Ali called out to Muawiyah from an elevated spot, and the latter replied. Imam Ali said, "Why should the blood of people be shed? Let us fight a duel and see who comes out victorious." Amr ibn As said to Muawiyah, "It is a good suggestion." Muawiyah laughed and said, "It appears that you covet the caliphate and want me killed." Amr said, "You have no choice but to fight with Ali." Muawiyah said, "We should go together to fight." Amr said, "By Allah, even if I die 1,000 times, I will fight Ali." Amr came out to fight with Imam Ali, but when he realized that he was going to be killed, he exposed his genitals. Imam Ali turned his face away. Amr took the opportunity and ran away. There was a warrior named Abu Dawood in Muawiyah's army. He said, "If Muawiyah is afraid of fighting with Ali, I will fight with him." Coming to the middle of the battlefield he said, "I am Abu Dawood. Let Ali come and fight with me." As Imam Ali went forth, his followers said, "Better leave this dog alone. It does not befit you to fight such a man." Ali did not pay heed to them and attacked Abu Dawood with such force that he cut him into two with one stroke. One part fell on the right and the other on left. Both armies were stunned by the fight of Udullah. 12. Abu Dawood also had a cousin in Muawiyah's army. When he saw that Abu Dawood is dead, he said, "Woe to me! It's no use living after Abu Dawood." Then he rushed forward to fight with Imam Ali, but his fate was no different from that of Abu Dawood's. Muawiyah was watching the scene from a high location. He said, "Curse be on my army! Is there no warrior to combat with Ali? Is there no one who may kill Ali by trickery when he is surrounded by the army? Is there no one who may eliminate Ali when the field is engulfed in dust?" Walid said, "You are the foremost trickster, so you should go and fight Ai." Muawiyah said, "Ali challenged me but I am ashamed before Quraysh that I did not respond to his challenge." Then he turned to Busr ibn Artat, and said, "Are you prepared to fight Ali?" Busr replied, "No one is more suitable for the combat than yourself, but as you have ordered me, I shall comply with it and go to fight." Busr's cousin who was betrothed to Busr's daughter and who had come from Hijaz said, "Beware, do not fight with Ali. Why did you accept this task?" Busr said, "I gave my word to Muawiyah, which I have to keep. I am ashamed to go back on it." His cousin laughed and recited some couplets, two of which are translated below. "O Busr, it appears that you are not aware of Ali's prowess or pretend to be ignorant. When you meet him, your death will be nailed to the edge of sword and the point of his spear." Busr said, "Is there anything more than death?" Then he put on his helmet and proceeded to fight, shouting, "Abu al-Hasan should come out and fight with me." Imam Ali immediately went to face him and struck a spear felling him. Busr saw death before him and like Amr ibn As exposed his nakedness. Imam Ali turned away and returned. Malik al-Ashtar asked, "Why did you leave alive your enemy and Allah's enemy?" Imam Ali replied, "Leave him alone. Allah may curse him. Should I have tolerated his becoming naked?" A poet has composed couplets about Amr ibn Az and Busr ibn Artat, which are quoted by Ibn Abul Hadid. Do you send a rider for fighting every day whose genitals become manifest in the desert sand cloud? His genitals defend him from Ali's spear, and Muawiyah laughs in private at this. 13. Busr bin Artat. Ibn Abul Hadid writes, Busr was an extremely stone-hearted person who had no pity or kindness. Muawiyah sent him to Medina with an army of 30,000 and said, "Plunder the houses of the supporters of Ali. When you enter Medina, you announce that you have come to play with their lives and don't accept any excuse of friendship or hatred for Ali." When Muawiyah dispatched his trouble-mongering squads, he gave same instructions. He had told Sufyan Ghamidi, "Kill any supporter of Ali you may find. Destroy the villages and plunder the property." He gave similar instructions to Zakat and other mercenaries. To comply with the order of their leader, Muawiyah's agents didn't even flinch from killing people. Thus, when Busr reached Medina, he abused the people very much and burned a large number of houses. Houses burnt by him included those of Zurara ibn Harwan, Amr ibn Awf, Rafa'ah ibn Raif, Raski, 14 and Abu Ayyub Ansari, who hosted the Holy Prophet. 15. It is mentioned in Masudi's Maruhuz Zahab. Busr killed a large number of Kuza people and inhabitants of Sana'a in Medina and between the two masjids. When the Imam came to know about it, he dispatched Jariya ibn Qudama and Wahab ibn Masud each with an army of 2,000 to pursue Busr. When Busr received the news about Jariya, he fled. Muawiyah's bandits used to launch ruthless attacks, killing and plundering people, and then fleeing like cowards. Imam Ali, therefore, had to take defensive measures in communication and logistics. Before leaving Medina for Mecca, Busr appointed Abu Hurairah as the governor. Abu Hurairah had himself observed the heresies and bloodshed by Busr in Medina but did not consider him heretic. Compilers of Sahih Sittah 16 consider Abu Hurairah reliable. They have narrated a large number of traditions from him. Probably they consider him reliable because he has fabricated a tradition of the Prophet that says, "Every prophet has a haram home and my haram is Medina. Whoever commits excess in it deserves the wrath of Allah, the angels, and all humans. And I Abu Hurairah testify that Ali has committed excesses in it, that is, he introduced heresies and created mischief." According to Abu Hurairah, Imam Ali was a mischief maker, but Muawiyah, who in the view of Ibn Umar was not a Muslim, was a defender of Medina. And as per the statement of Abu Hurairah and the testimony of Busr, Muawiyah was the one that eliminated heresies and mischief. From Medina, Busr moved to Mecca. On the way killed a large number of people. When the news of his attack reached Mecca, most people fled from the city, fearing his persecution. Busr passed by the Christians of Najran, Yemen, killing a number of them, and then stood up to give a speech in which he said, "O Christians, O brothers of monkeys, if I come to know that you have disobeyed me, I shall return and shall make your generations extinct. I shall ruin your farms and demolish your houses." 17. On way to Sana'a, he killed Abi Karb, chief of the Shia tribes of Hamadan. In Sana'a also he created an atmosphere of murder and plunder. People of the Marib tribe appealed to him for mercy, but he killed their chiefs and didn't even spare two small children of Ubaydullah ibn Abbas. The children's mother pulled her hair in distress and recited a mournful dirge. In a letter, Mughira ibn Shuba congratulated Busr on such ruthlessness. "May Allah make you and me of those who order good, attend to Allah and remember Him much." It is rightly said that people are brethren to each other on account of their morals, because when we see carefully, we find that fraudsters and deceitful persons like Busr and Mughira are present even in this age. They utter the name of God and even lead prayers but have religious people killed in the mosques. 2. It was mentioned earlier that Imam Ali sent Jariya ibn Qudama to subdue Busr. Jariya pursued Busr and drove him out of the territories under the Imam's control. However, before that Busr managed to pull down houses, destroy farms, and kill many people. When Busr returned to Syria, he reported to Muawiyah, "I have routed and annihilated your enemies." During the outward journey as well as on the way back, Muawiyah said, "It was Allah and not you who killed them." Yazid had also said to Imam Sajjad, "A praise be to Allah who has killed your father." Imam Sajjad said, "Curse of Allah be on him who has killed my father." Ibn Abul Hadid says, "During this exercise, Busr ibn Artat killed 30,000 people and burnt many alive." Like Busr, Muslim ibn Uqba al-Mari 18 also became Yazid's agent. He followed Busr's policy in the incident of Hira, and he is in Yemen. But Yazid's conduct was not more surprising than that of his father. Massacres and murders in the sanctuaries of Mecca and Medina, killing of innocent children and robbing ornaments off women by Muawiyah and his agents prompted some people to say Muawiyah was a better politician than Imam Ali. Of course, Imam Ali and those like him were not experts in creating mischief and resorting to killings and plunder. It was Muawiyah who possessed greatness in the matter of such politics and was indeed a great politician in the view of those who think like him. Amr bin al-As. Lane Zarnakshari's Rabi al-Abrar, it is mentioned that the mother of Amr ibn al-As, Nabiga, was a woman of loose morals and she had illegal relations with Abu Lahab, Umayyah ibn Khalaf, Hisham ibn Mughira and Abu Sufyan ibn Harb. But when Amr was born, she said that his father was al-As ibn Wa'il and thus absolved the said four persons from sin. When Nabiga was asked why she selected al-Az as Amr's father, she replied, "Because as compared to others he spends more on me and my children." But it is said that Amr resembled Abu Sufyan more than the other four. Exegists have unanimously stated that Amr's father, al-Az ibn Wa'il said, "I hate Muhammad, the Abtar." 19 Thereupon Allah revealed the verse, "Surely your enemy is the one who shall be without posterity." 108. 3. Amr ibn al-As was of those who were inimical to the Holy Prophet and called him a liar and troublemaker. He fought against the Holy Prophet with the army of polytheists and composed a 70-line satire poem. The Prophet invoked Allah, "My Lord, I do not write poetry, so you curse him 1,000 times for every letter of his poem." On the basis of this, Amr ibn al-As is accursed in the view of Allah and His Messenger. 20. At the time of the migration of the Muslims to Ethiopia, Ibn al-Az went to see King Negus to petition him to deport the Muslims to Mecca. 21. Towards the end of Uthman's reign, Amr instigated people to rise against him. However, after the murder of the latter, he joined hands with others to demand retaliation and opposed Imam Ali. Amr said to Aisha, "I wish you had been killed in the battle of Jamal." Aisha said, "May your father die. Why should I have been killed?" Amr replied, "It would have been a great blemish on Ali's reputation." 22. During the time of Umar, Amr ibn al-As was the governor of Egypt. While holding the post, he was guilty of excesses and embezzlement. So, Umar confiscated his property. Amr had sold his faith to Muawiyah on the condition that Muawiyah would appoint him as governor of Egypt and not inquire into other matters. Regarding Amr, his slave has said, "He fought against Imam Ali, because he was a man of hereafter, and defended Muawiyah because he was the slave of this world." According to Makrizi in Al-Qutad and Ibn Athir in Kamil Fit Tariq, Muawiyah appointed Amr ibn al-Az as governor of Egypt because the people there were Shia. Sheikh Abu Zahra writes in Al-Mazahib, "Al-Ilamiyah, people of Egypt, embraced Shi'ism during the time of Uthman." 23. Amir al-Mu'minin Imam Ali had appointed Qays ibn Sa'd al-Ansari as the governor of Egypt and after him, Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr was appointed in his place. Muawiyah dispatched an army of 4,000 to Egypt under the command of Amr. This army included Muawiyah ibn Khadij, Abi Awar Salmi and Abdur Rahman ibn Abi Bakr. Amr's army scattered the forces of Muhammad, and Muhammad took refuge in a ruin. When Amr's soldiers captured Muhammad and brought him out of the ruins, he was about to die of thirst. When he asked for water, Ibn Khadij said, "If I give you water, may Allah never quench my thirst." According to another report, Muhammad was stuffed in a donkey hide and burned alive. 24. The shock of Muhammad bin Abi Bakr's death. When the news of the murder of Muhammad reached Imam Ali, he said, I have never been grieved so much during these battles as I have been today on the death of Muhammad. Those present said, "You grieve for him too much." Imam Ali replied, "Why shouldn't I? Muhammad was the son of my wife and brother of my children, and I am his father." 25. Imam Ali dispatched Malik al-Ashtar with a huge force to recover Egypt. When Muawiyah came to know about it, he summoned a landowner of Arish and said to him, "If you can poison Malik to death, I will not take land revenue from you for 20 years. When Malik reached Arish, the landowner served him poisoned honey sherbet. Malik passed away immediately, and Muawiyah's soldiers killed the landowner. When His Eminence, Ali, received this shocking news, he said, Lidin-e-wal, Gom. These words are uttered at a time when one is helpless and cannot do anything. When the news of Malik's death reached Muawiyah, he said, Allah has some armies, one of which is honey. When Muawiyah had given poisoned honey to the farmer to kill Malik, he told the people to curse Malik. So, the people cursed him. And when the news of Malik's death was brought to him, he said to the people, "See how soon your prayer is granted." It drives one mad to think that through deceit, pious servants of Allah are killed with poison, and all these heinous acts are attributed to Allah, and it is further taken as an outcome of prayers to him. Doubtlessly, Muawiyah wanted to say that it was not he that committed these crimes. Muawiyah rebukes his son in the words of Prophet Adam and says, "You lie to Allah, to your father Adam, to your mother Eve and to one another. And not being contented with this, you deceive yourselves and lie to yourselves." 26. Muawiyah was not content with just his army. He also dispatched equipped detachments of expert mercenaries who destroyed, plundered, and killed the people. He deputed such detachments under the command of Yazid ibn Shajara, Abdur Rahman ibn Qays, Zuhair ibn Makul, Muslim ibn Uqba and Abdullah ibn Masada. He himself also assumed the command of some of such detachments and marched up to the Tigris to wreak havoc. 27. Professor Abbas Mahmud Akkad writes, Muawiyah's agents were trained experts in their fields. They were cunning hounds that hunted excessively. Single quote. The Christian Lebanese writer George Jordak writes, supporters of Bani Umayyah consisted of two groups. First were those whose conscience could be purchased through bribes, and second, those who had low morals and were enemies of the righteous people. Muawiyah's soldiers were always in search of human blood. They were especially fond of killing the elderly, women, and children. To create terror and flee quickly was their usual practice. As against the methods adopted by Muawiyah's army, the soldiers of Imam Ali were extremely sluggish. He was so much distressed with their attitude that he prayed, "O Lord, give me better people than these." One day he said to his companions, "Woe be to you, you set out with me to fight and then run away from the battlefield. By Allah, I wish to die with the truth of my goal and faith, because a great comfort is hidden in it. In this way, I shall be relieved of conversing with you and bearing hardships. I don't know